Hello and welcome to Rando Rob. Each week on Rando Rob, I'll be showing and discussing one item from my large collection of collections. New shows appear every Monday, and throughout the week, I'll be adding older episodes of Rando Rob that were previously only available to my Patreon subscribers. You can watch episodes of Rando Rob on YouTube at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. Just look for the Rando Rob playlist. Audio versions of the show are available on my website at podcast.robohara.com or through iTunes. Just search for Rando Rob. Thanks for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy this vintage episode of Rando Rob. While I was taking things down and moving stuff around on the shelves that are next to me over here, I've got one little cubby of the shelves dedicated to DVDs. Now, I've boxed up and I sold a bunch of my DVDs and I boxed up the rest, and I've said this before. The purpose of why is my head itching all of a sudden? It's like a shampoo commercial. I do plan on donating them to Arcadia Retrocade. They have a party room for kids, and I have a bunch of 80s and 90s cartoons and different DVDs and stuff. So that's really the plan. But I have a subset of the DVDs that I'm not getting rid of, and those are the ones that are sitting over here. Most of them are because they're either super rare or they were local. They have some deeper meaning or attraction or something. So while I was cleaning up, this is one of those DVDs. This is, as I show you the back here, a DVD. Well, I'll just show you the front. A DVD of a live show from The Amazing Johnathan, who you can see pictured right there. The Amazing Johnathan is one of my favorite stand-up comedian. I say stand-up comedians. He's a magician. But he is a comedy magician. So if you aren't familiar with The Amazing Johnathan, then I've got this YouTube clip queued up. So we're going to flip over here. Let me flip over to this view here. And I'm just going to show just a couple of minutes. This is from one of the Amazing Johnathan's specials that's on YouTube. And unfortunately, once you've seen one or two of them, you've seen the majority of his material. Boy, you know what? Someone told me recently that my mic was clipping, and I can see it right here. I can see it going past the red. I need to add a limiter plug-in or something. I just turned it down just a little bit so it wouldn't be quite so hot. But let's get this rolling and see what we get audio-wise here.
We're gonna start with a really neat trick. Does somebody have a $5 or a $10 bill or anything? You have a $5? Anyone? Just any kind of money at all? I know this generally.
I'm gonna mute my mic because it's coming through my computer speakers here. So we're just gonna watch like 2 minutes of this.
We have a lot of other shit we can do. Okay, let's look at some of the shit you just bought, shall we? This first trick is called the mystery of the linking coat hangers, and as you can see, they're already linked, so that's going to save us lots of time. Now, this is a classic rope trick a lot of magicians won't do because they're chicken. They use strings or wires or even magnets sometimes to achieve. All right, forget it. Have we done this yet? Okay, we'll do it now. Okay, well. Sorry you had to see that. I want to take my clothes off and run around. This prevents streaking.
They prevent streaking. Get it? That's Windex. That's funny stuff. The Amazing Johnathan really came onto the scene. I mean, I think there might have been a little bit in the late 80s, very late 80s, but really the early 90s is when Amazing Johnathan broke through. All of a sudden he was on TV. He had multiple, like 3 TV specials, like on Comedy Central and stuff like that. I think this might be from the Comedy Central special. Now, one of the unfortunately, one of the problems with Amazing Johnathan is that he's still doing some of the same material. So, I mean, when you go see him, when I saw him a couple of years ago, he did all this same stuff. He drank the Windex. He did the goofy stuff. So anyway, the Amazing Johnathan, I'm not like a expert on the Amazing Johnathan, but I know the general story. But I mean, the general story is that he had a really bad cocaine addiction, and the good news is that he stopped at one point doing cocaine. The bad news is that he started doing meth. And so he developed ultimately a really serious heart condition. And so, I mean, I'm jumping through, decades or whatever, but he was, a Las Vegas magician. He had his own show in Vegas. I saw him, actually, I've seen him twice perform live, and neither time was in Vegas. I saw him perform in Tunica, Mississippi at a casino. And then several years ago, I got to see, well, I say several years ago, I'll have to see when this was. This was in 2017. So just a few years ago, I got to see him in Dallas. And so basically what happened was the Amazing Johnathan, he had gone quiet. He had stopped performing, and then he came and he was doing a podcast. He was doing some different stuff. But a lot of the Amazing Jonathan's quote unquote humor is mean-spirited. He's really sarcastic. He's gone through a couple of different assistants. There was the Amazing Tanya, who was really funny. And then there was the Amazing Psychic Sandra, I think was one. And that he's performed with these people, but some of his stuff is kind of mean-spirited and hasn't aged well. Some of it's genius. Some of it is, I don't know. Not all of it's great. There's a little bit of irony to him doing all the cocaine thing on stage, because he said later that he really had like lines of cocaine hidden on the stage that he would do to get him through a presentation. And so, or a performance. So anyway, he came out on I don't know if it was a podcast or a panel, it was something, but basically he came out and said, hey, by the way, I have a heart condition. I have less than a year to live, and I'm not performing anymore, and I'm going to die. And the crowd erupted in laughter. And then he said, I'm not kidding. I'm serious. That I'm not going to make it. And it was almost like an Andy Kaufman kind of thing. Like people didn't know whether to believe him or not believe him. So over the past couple of years, they've made 2 different documentaries about him. And they're both good documentaries. But I wish I had the names of them here, but if you have any interest at all in watching Amazing Johnathan documentary, Google Amazing Johnathan documentary, and you'll find it. But I think one of them is available on YouTube for free, and I don't remember about the other one. But anyway, through some sort of medical intervention or whatever, he got some sort of reprieve. And they said, well, he might live for a few years if he straightens up his act and quits the meth, And so he did. And so he announced in 2017 that he was going to do like 20 live shows. Now, I had seen Amazing Johnathan, like I said, in Tunica, I don't know, in the mid 2000s, somewhere like that. But it, became obvious that this was going to be his last run of shows ever. And so he did not come to Oklahoma, but he came to Dallas, Texas, which is, again, as I mentioned in the IKEA thing, about 3.5 hour drive. And I told my wife, I was like, I've got to go to this. I've got to go see him one last time. And Amazing Johnathan was not in good shape physically. He had lost a lot of weight. I want you to look at that picture of him there, because I'm going to show you another picture here very shortly. But he had lost a lot of weight. He sat down through a lot of the show. He sat on a stool. And he no longer works with Psychic Sandra or Psychic Tanya, either one of those, but he has a new partner who goes by the name of Anastasia. And you might know Anastasia if you watch Penn and Teller Fool Us. She's been on there. She is also a she's not necessarily a magician. I mean, she does do magic tricks, but more she's almost like the circus sideshow kind of thing. Like, she does body modification type things, and she actually did her trick on Penn and Teller. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she'd swallowed something and it came out of her stomach, and essentially that was the trick, is that she was really doing it, that she had stuck needles through her body, and that she does that anyway. So, Amazing Johnathan, it was kind of bittersweet to go see him. At the end, he did have a small meet and greet. And so this DVD, again, is really his live show. But if you've seen any of his live shows or any of his footage that's on YouTube or anything else, I mean, it's on this. But you can see it does say to Rob, and it's signed Amazing Johnathan there. And anyway, after the show, I got to talk with him for just a couple of minutes. And so there is me and the Amazing Johnathan and Anastasia. Amazing Johnathan, it's not a well-kept secret that he wears a wig because he's lost all his hair basically from drug use and maybe, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I'll just say that he's lost his hair. But I mean, you can see that he's definitely lost a lot of weight and is pretty frail looking. And so, like I said, bittersweet's probably a good word, because I did want to see his show one more time. I wanted to see him in person. It was at a comedy club. I was 10 feet from him for the entire night. He did some new tricks that I had not seen before. He had added some things to the show, but a lot of it was kind of like a greatest hits. It's kind of like going to a band where they're doing their farewell tour and they do their greatest hits. And you know that's it. You know what I mean? Like on their going away tour. And so this was the going away tour. I was glad to have gone to it. And I was, like I said, it was good to see the show one last time in person, And I don't know what else there is to say. You can watch the documentaries if you want to see more about him and his life. He had at one point the largest underground, or the largest private, I believe it was, drive-in. And in Vegas, he had built an underground drive-in and bought all these classic cars, and then permanently fitted them with surround sound stereos and stuff. And so he would invite people, and you would go into this underground place and then just pick a car and go sit in a car, and he had a giant projector and stuff where he would show movies to his friends and stuff. So a super cool guy. He had good taste and stuff. I think the chemical dependencies got to him a little bit. So I'm glad to say that in 2021 he is still alive. But if you watch the documentaries, and I follow him on social media, and he doesn't post as much as he used to, so I don't know if that's a bad sign, but I do hope the best for Amazing Johnathan. But anyway, one of the things here in the room is the Amazing Johnathan DVD that is autographed to me. That is a good thing that I will have until I die. It'll be in a shelf somewhere in a room, probably, when I'm working on a computer. It will be 10 to 15 feet from me for the rest of my life. So anyway, got some podcast stuff to do later tonight. Tomorrow we'll definitely have a show on Thursday. And I'm already, I kind of took a week off last week. So I've got stuff to crank out to, like always, stay on schedule. So it'll be a busy week. Tomorrow night, I'll be streaming golly, I don't even want to say the name of it, but it's a new Commodore 64 game that I was able to beta test, and it's really, really fun. And so that'll be on the stream, and I even have some keys to the game to give away. So that will be fun too. So thank you guys for sticking around, and got stuff planned, and that's about all I got right now. Thanks.